So this really highlights the two key things. So the two key problems are, well, now you have this minimum transaction size because of the need for transaction fees to pay for mediation. And now you also have to hassle customers for a bunch of information. The first problem, the transaction minimum, is somewhat of an invisible problem because from our point of view, firmly established in this domain where this is kind of the norm, we look at it and we say, well, paying 30 cents and 3% for my lunch isn't a huge burden. But where it's really burdensome is all the services which individually are not valued at higher than 30 cents. So there's a whole host of businesses, especially with online businesses, where you have billions of potential customers that are connected to the internet, where you could reasonably have a very small margin business for a very small unit cost good. And you could have billions of recurring customers and generate a ton of revenue. But with the transaction fees needed to help with mediation, these are all priced out. So all these services that might exist don't, plus just the obvious annoyance of transaction fees when you are paying for lunch. And then the second is the need for information. So this is something that we know how to solve in person. If you don't really want to have a relationship with a store on a recurring basis and you're making a small purchase, you're not doing anything above KYC limits, it's easy enough to just pay them cash, and that's kind of the end of your relationship. The problem is that there's no system that kind of translates that to the online domain. And this brings us to the last part, which is the solution proposed. What is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing any two parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party. Transactions that are computationally impractical to reverse would protect sellers from fraud, and routine escrow mechanisms could easily be implemented to protect buyers. So this is really just a jargony way of saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if cash worked on the internet? And the things he lists here, like not needing to have a trusted third party, fraud prevention, escrow, these are just aspects of doing commerce in person with cash that he's fundamentally saying, hey, how do we port this over to the internet? And then this last part, it's not really necessary to read the last part. It's a little bit more jargony than the first. But really what the last part is saying is, here's why this time it will work. So prior to Bitcoin's release, there were previous attempts at electronic cash, and they all failed for various reasons. And those reasons are, so the double spending problem. I'd say a key feature of electronic information is that it's easily copyable. So this is great for PDFs. This is not great for money. So solving the double spending problem is a key feature of Bitcoin. Also, the ability to order transactions in a way that allows it to scale. So this is kind of a footnote here at the end. It seems most people in the blockchain space have missed, because this is really a key failure of, I'd say, the majority of blockchain projects, notably networks like Ethereum. And their inability to have a scalable transaction ordering system is what leads to the state they're in today, where I checked earlier and it was $27 average transaction fees on Ethereum. So ordering transactions is a key feature of Bitcoin scalability. And then the last part is really just, this system needs to be robust. So we can't have a system that's managed and owned by a single entity. If we're going to build our internet commerce around this new cash system, it really has to be something that's public and not owned by any one entity.